Hello, Prescott School. Mr. O here. I am excited to be here today to read to you How to Solve a Problem, The Rise and Falls of a Rock Climbing Champion. It is by Ashima Shiraishi. It is a great book, and thank you to Mrs. Condon for inviting me to be part of this. I hope you enjoy this story as much as I do. And now, here we are, How to Solve a Problem. Inside our cover, we have some nice art of Ashima. How to Solve a Problem, The Rise and Falls of a Rock Climbing Champion. It starts with a little letter. Dear reader, that's you and me. The first time I met Ashima Shiraishi, we talked about hip-hop, books, and dessert. She is a teenager and curious about all the things that teenagers are curious about. For a moment, one could almost forget that she is one of the best in the world at what she does. At the end of our meeting, I ask what she's doing next. She says she will go practice, by which she means she will face a wall for 4 hours. She will climb it again and again. She will work on holds and techniques. She will make mistakes and make them again until she learns how to do it better. Being the best in the world is not something we are born into. Ashima's parents aren't climbers, they're artists, New Yorkers. Her mom loves to sew and still makes the pants Ashima climbs in. Her father was a dancer, the kind of guy who takes his young daughter to Central Park and lets her climb the rocks because it's fun, not knowing there is a champion inside her. Being the best in the world is made of countless hours in the gym. It's made of mistakes and falls. It's the discipline and care and the time it takes to go back to that wall and try again. The ability to try again after failing. That is what it takes to be great. That might be Ashima's greatest superpower. I imagine every child might like to be the best in the world at something. And I know of no better guide than this teenager who likes hip-hop, books, and dessert. Who after school will go to a wall in Queens or Brooklyn and keep working on that wall, that problem, as a climber would say, until she has solved it. That's written by Christopher Myers. And now here we go. I am Ashima. What I do is climb. What I do is solve problems, which is to say, I make them mine. We climbers call our boulders problems. We also call our problems problems. And to solve them both is sort of the same. Once I had a problem and it stretched into the sky. It was tremendously endless. It was bigger than thinking. It was as huge as the air or the night or the planet. It was a problem bigger than any I had ever seen, and I have seen plenty. There were twists and turns. There were places that looked as slick as glass. One part was arched like a question mark. Another part stuck out like my father's elbow in a photo I have seen of him dancing. And another was shaped like the bolts of fabric stacked in my mother's sewing room. There were many parts, and none of them looked easy. I sighed and clapped my hands full of chalk, which is what I do before I solve a problem. I held this problem in my head. I mapped out every step, each place I would put my hand, and then I began to climb. Dug my toe into the dot of the question mark. Jammed my fingertips into the bend of my father's dancing elbow. Kicked my leg over my mother's fabrics. I was climbing on nothing but air. And then, for a moment, the world slipped out from under me. The ground beneath me rushed up and pressed into my back like the hand of a giant named gravity. So I dusted myself off. Dad asked how I was feeling. He passed me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and for a while we just sat there. Then, when I was ready, I looked at the problem again with the new information the fall had given me. Each fall is a message, a hint, an idea, a new way to move from over there to over here. So I started. And so I fell. And so I climbed again, listening to what the fall had told me. The problem that was endless, which I broke into little pieces. The problem that gave me hints with each fall. And surely and quickly, I climbed the wall. I dug my fingers there and here and stretched my arms like ropes. I threw my body through the air and caught myself in all the ways I'd imagined, a bright path of thinking. And there, at the top of the problem, I looked down at the bolts of fabric, the dot of the question mark, the bend of the elbow, and I waved hello at the memory of how hard the problem was. And looked for one problem more. And here we have a timeline, Ashima's ascent. Starting at the bottom here on the left, April 3rd, 2001, Ashima Shiraishi is born to Suya and Hisatoshi Shiraishi. Data is not available for when Ashima figures out how to climb out of her crib. Next, at age 6, Ashima begins climbing at Rat Rock in Central Park, New York City. Age 7, Ashima enters her first climbing competition. Age 8, Ashima solves the problem, Power of Silence, in Hueco Tanks, Texas. This boulder is rated V10 for difficulty, a grade only expert climbers can achieve. Age 9, Ashima climbs her first V11 and V12 problems, including Rogered in the Shower and Chablanc in Hueco Tanks. Age 10, Ashima becomes the youngest person ever to climb a V13 problem, Crown of Aragorn in Hueco Tanks. Only elite climbers and professionals can climb at this grade. She was only 10. Age 13, Ashima climbs Golden Shadow in Rocklands, South Africa, which is pictured in this book. That was her first V14. Now, age 14, Ashima becomes the first woman in the world to climb a V15 boulder problem, Horizon, in Mount Hai, Japan. She is the second person ever to solve this problem. Age 15, Ashima sweeps the IFSC Youth World Championships for her third year running, and also places first in SCS Nationals. What comes next? The sky's the limit for Ashima and for you too. Hope you enjoyed listening. I enjoyed reading. Thank you again, Mrs. Condon. I'll see you guys around the school. Bye.